everybody and welcome to my channel. You Got Me in Stitches, and a warm welcome to my new series, Deconstruct to Reconstruct, Vintage Style. I hope everybody has had a really good week. Okay, so as you can see over my left shoulder I have this, I think, late 1960s polyester frock. It's just above the knee on me. On the hem, the allowance is very tiny, and also I think the person who constructed this frock, they used almost invisible thread because you can barely see the thread, so it's that clear, I think, thread that you can purchase. So the seam allowances on the side seams are very generous. There is also a front and back seam, and obviously I will be taking it in quite a lot because, as you could see from the stills and video, it was like a tent on me. So hopefully from the fabric that I will have left over from the seam allowances, I might make a tab detail for the front and or back, or possibly a little narrow belt to go on it. Who knows? The neckline is a rounder neckline, which I do like, but I may swap it for a square neckline. I don't know. Around the shoulders it fits fine, and arm side, and obviously it's sleeveless, so you know there's not really much I can do about that. On the back there is a metal zipper, and as you saw there's a little bit of string attached to it. I have obviously since taken that off. That was just the little tag that it came with, and I didn't realise it didn't completely come out the zipper. So inside, just along sort of the neckline, they have put in just some little setting sort of facing for the inside. Again, I will flip the frock to the inside out and I will talk through with you in a moment, and you will be able to see visually the inside of the dress. So yeah, but overall I think it's going to be quite a fun deconstruction, and overall it's just too big for me. So the work that I will be doing is semi-basic. I will just be undoing both the side seams and obviously reconfiguring the size so it will fit my current body shape and sew it all back together. None of the seams have been finished from what I can see so far by any serging or anything, and also they haven't done any pinking shears or anything on the edges, so they've just left them raw. Yeah, so I will flip the frock now so you can see the inside, and then I will talk through what we can see. Okay guys, so as you can see, this is the front neckline. I do quite like that it's semi-dipped down. I may change it up to a square neckline. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. They have just used this brown lining just to face around there, and it continues around the back. This is the front seam. As you can see, you know, quite a little bit of allowance, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be a substantial amount once I reconfigure. I'm not going to touch this front seam unless I have to, and again it's just left raw, no finishes. There are two front darts, so there's one there and one there, again just darted, and there's no finishing. So if I follow down, and here on the hem, that's all the hem there is, so it's just a tiny bit under an inch, and they have actually finished that with perhaps a gentle zigzag stitch. Wow. Okay, so just pinning back up, follow it around here. Okay, so this is the side seam. Again, very generous with the fabric there. And then the arm side. And then following it around the back, I have put a small tiny dart there in the back. If I just see if I can turn this around, there we go. And then the metal zipper, what I might do is put a hook and bar there, because this does have a tendency to, as you can see, just slide down a little bit. So hopefully to stop that from happening, I just put a little hook and bar there. And again, as you can see, just the same thin lining that they've just put. You can see there if I pin back, and then the zipper comes halfway down the back. So they had originally darts, as you can see there, but whoever previously owned the dress has actually taken those out, and there's the other one there. So I may install those again just to add some shaping. So yeah, so pretty basic overall. Let me just flip that around a little bit, just the other arm side there, and they've just followed this. I might actually even change that up. I've just noticed, I don't know if you can see, there's a little hole there. Yeah, I think I might do that, and there's a little tear there. So yes, that's the inside of the dress. That's just pinning down the back. So deconstruction time, guys. Okay guys, so before I get my quick pick out and start seam ripping, examining this a little bit more in detail, as you can see here, this is all ripped, and over, sorry, there we go, over there as well. So I think this is going to be a bigger deconstruction. In there they've just sort of roughly stitched along there. They have attempted to finish that edge off on that lining, but there's sort of too many little holes and rips and things, as you can see there. So I think I'm going to completely take this apart and start from the very beginning on it.
Hey everybody, as you can see I have deconstructed everything, and as you just saw I have pieced everything. So what I have now done, I have pinned everything from the original fabric pieces. I haven't cut anything away yet. I've pinned the original darts in the back. I have just fitted the dress on off camera. I think I'm going to lengthen those and bring them in a little bit more because there's still quite a bit of excess fabric around at the back. I have pinned. What I'll do, just bear with me a second and then I'll flip it over. Okay, so now this is the front. Now with these bust darts, side darts, they actually configure to my bust point pretty much spot on, so I'm not going to change those, and to be honest I can't anyway, because look, if you look carefully, that fabric was originally cut, so I'm stuck with those darts in that position no matter what. So like I just said, I have pinned everything. You can still see the original line where it was stitched, so I have very gently, because I don't want to change the arm side, I'm starting from the arm side point there, and I'm just gradually coming in and then following that down. Again, it's just currently pinned. The same with the front here, I have just pinned that, and I think you can see the original line was there, so I've just sort of come over about a ½ inch. So yes, and then obviously around the arm side, the person who constructed this obviously has put those little nicks in the arm side. So what I'm going to have to do is stay stitch everything. I was going to obviously stay stitch both the necklines anyway, but I'm going to do both the arm sides as well. Yes, just to give it some extra strength. So yeah, I'm going to make the darts in the back, like I just said, a little bit bigger and longer, and I might just bring the sides in just a tiny bit more, because the dress is got a whole bunch of stretch in the fabric anyway. So yeah, and hopefully I might be able to do a little back tab or like a belt like I said before. Okay, so I'm going to do another quick fitting and then hopefully do some stitching.
Okay, so as you can see, the inside I bias bound the neck and the arm side. See if I can get close enough so you guys can see that front seam as well there. I have left like the original. I haven't finished the edges or anything. Now the bust darts, they are also exactly the same, and as I said previously, I couldn't order them anyway because obviously they were cut, but thankfully they do sit where they are supposed to. So just follow down here. So the hem I have, like I said, just kept the same. Just follow that around. I'm just trying to avoid that shadow. But again, it's pretty straightforward. Okay. Oh, if I just get up, like follow around the side here. As you can see, straightforward arm side. And again, I've left a generous allowance on the side seams that I've taken in. If I just turn this around, there we go. I'll start from the zipper. I just have that little tendency to move. Yeah, so I've just pulled that up, and yeah, I may put a hook and bar or a little detail there. Again, the original zipper I've left in, so I haven't touched this back seam at all. The back darts, as you can see here, again, I have lengthened them considerably compared to the original. So I think the original kind of stopped about there, and then I've added this on, obviously marked that out properly so I get the correct. But again, pretty straightforward, just to give the back a little bit of shaping. Again, like I said, these are the original shoulder darts, so I have left them as is. And again, as you can see, I have not put the lining, although the fabric is quite drapey. It's quite thick, so, and it's not see-through. And yeah, I mean, the binding, I think, is my preferred method. And as you saw, you know, the lining was pretty much in a bad way, so I couldn't use it anyway. I have just stitched like seams down there on the shoulders just so it doesn't bunch up. So yeah, overall I'm really happy with that. If I just pan out so you can see. There we go. Okay everybody, so I have the finished completed frock here, and I will just talk through a little bit. You will also see it inside out on a mannequin. So here it is, all completed. So I'll just talk through and show you close-ups of what I have done. So initially I thought it would be relatively straightforward, which it was, but there was a few extra little sort of tweaks that I had to make. So as I was deconstructing, as you saw, the lining was actually in quite sort of a poor state, so I decided to get rid of that. I was going to reline it with some fresh lining, but in the end I decided to bias bind the arm side and the necklines. Also, before I did the stay stitching and everything around that neckline, I had to tidy up and the arm size. So where the previous owner or whoever originally constructed the dress obviously notched all around the neckline and the arm size, that was just really distorted and pretty much damaged. So I cut that down like, I don't know, maybe 1 mil or less, and tidied it all up, and then stay stitched everything. just to get a little bit of extra strength, and obviously then decided to bias bind on the neckline, as you can see here, and along the arm side and everything. Again, I think it gives it a little bit of structure, but also it looks more finished, and obviously that will stand the test of time. Right, okay, so I've left the shoulder seams, the original little dart there is still there. The front seam, obviously I cut off, I would say a good sort of 1/2 inch either side, so 1 inch in all. The same with the side seams, 1 inch off both sides, maybe just a tiny bit more. And on the back, the original person had obviously omitted taking out the back darts. I have reinstalled them, so reinstating them, I lengthened them and obviously made them a little bit wider so I could have a little bit more of a nipped in waistline. The hem I have left as is, which I will show you guys. So, bear with me a sec. So there, some of the original stitching is still there. I have gone over, I'll just flip that round so you can see the front. So just a regular stitch and regular stitch length as well. And there was no point doing anything with that original hem, because even if I'd unpicked it all, I would have still had to use the same amount, because as you just saw, that was the only amount that was in that hem. So albeit that they were very generous on the side seam allowances and all the other allowances, this time on this frock the hem was less so generous. But yeah, what I have done is just put a little stitching line either side on the shoulders. That's just to keep the seams down in the shoulders, and I have not put a hook and bar on yet. That zipper I have just left as is for now. I think when I've just tidied it up and, you know, strengthened everything, the zipper does seem to hold, but I may put a hook and bar on later on, or I may put a little sort of fastening detail. Who knows? I'll see how I get on with that. So yeah, really happy with that. And yeah, a few little sort of works on there was a little bit longer than I anticipated, but it's all part of the journey. So okay, so I will leave it here, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me today again with Deconstruct, Reconstruct Vintage Style. If you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, and I look forward to reading your comments below. Constructive criticism is always welcome. And yeah, it's all part of the learning journey, and like I said before, I don't profess to be anywhere near an expert. I just like reconfiguring clothes, especially vintage, and it's great because it's part of restyling, recycling, and you know, if clothes could talk, I'm sure this frock could have a few stories to tell. So it's been brought to life, well, brought back to life, and yeah, hopefully gonna get quite a generous wear out of it. So okay, so thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys on Sunday. Have a fantastic week, and I will also see you on the following Wednesday. Okay, thank you so much for watching.